Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Front Wheel Fury Tournament. I'm your host, Tera Hawkizzard, or Tera Hawk for short. You guys are the audience, and this here is my very first Gran Turismo 4 tournament, made in collaboration with Zetsu. Now, what is Front Wheel Fury, you might ask? What does it sound like? This is a tournament focused around front engine, front drive cars in a ultimate battle to decide who the best one is in Gran Turismo 4, at least out of who entered. There are 36 participants now, but by the end of it, there can only be one winner. So, without further ado, into the first round we go, Tsukuba Tilt. Also, minor clarification here. Some people's cars are not the right colors. We had issues with color consistency in our races early on. This should be fixed by round 2, but if your car is not the right color in this episode, I apologize. Now, let's move on for real.
Okay, so we got a pretty good lineup for this race. We have Sir Spoonie in the Eclipse, Thunderstorm Gaming in the newer Civic, Intana in the POW, Halo in the Mirage, Mavas Morte in the Sunfire, and Speed Demon in the funny little Midget. Let's get right into it. Immediately, the Midget playing defensively as Mavis tries to go for an overtake. Seems like it fails, as the little truck and everybody else make their way around the corner here. A little bit of action here. Oh, Mavis and Halo go for a double overtake on the Midget, but the Midget denies the Mirage. However, of course, the Sunfire slips away while the POW goes around the outside on this little hump corner here. Spoonie loses a bit of grip. The POW also manages to successfully make it past the Midget before making it to this big bend. While the 3 wide between these guys here. Seems like the Mirage comes out on top. The Civic fights the Eclipse physically for a position, but loses. Oh, but it and the Mirage all managed to get around the Midget here on the long straight, as well as the Civic. The Mirage leading in third ahead of these guys. Up front, it looks like the POW is easily, cleanly overtaken the Sunfire in this corner, while the Eclipse and Cyborg follow. Battle of the Mitsubishis here. The Eclipse getting in front of Halo. While the Civic and the Midget lag behind going around this corner here. Hatchback getting a little loose there. 5.5 seconds behind the POW, though, oh my lord. The Mirage makes it around the corner onto the straight, which Spoonie and Mavis are already on. Spoonie seemingly catching up to Mavis, maybe going for an overtake, while the POW just flies away with it. Goes for the dive bomb overtake, is successful in slipping past her, now taking the silver medal, as the hatchbacks round out the back here. A whopping 6 seconds behind the POW. Oh, he's trying his best, this poor little truck. Back to the action here. We have the POW taking a very clean line and powering out very well, while the Eclipse tries to keep up, followed by the Sunfire, the Mirage, and the Civic. And of course, POW making it onto a long straight now. I have a feeling that the superior horsepower of the Eclipse is going to catch it, but you never know. Everybody else on the straight currently. Civic gets a little loose, doesn't keep the line very well. seemingly not catching up to Halo in the corners or in the straights. Little midget back there doing his best. He's actually lapped everybody. It's just so fast that we haven't been able to see it, you know? Now this is smoothly taking this corner as the gap continues to build between first and second and the rest of the cars. The PAL really just running away with it. Quite the upset. Back in the middle here. Everybody seems about evenly spaced. The Mirage isn't making ground, but it isn't losing ground either. Same with the Civic. While the Sunfire is just comfortably in third. 10 seconds behind the PAL. Dear Lord. Getting on the straight now, see if anything happens. Near the end of the race at this point. Looks like up front, the PAL has taken the lead. The PAL has won this race, followed by Spoonie in the Eclipse in second. Mabus in the Sunfire in third. Halo in the Mirage in fourth. Thunderstorm in the Civic in fifth, pardon me. And in sixth, the Little Midget, who tries his best, but unfortunately could not win the race. Alright, so for Heat 2, we've got a bit of a strong all-star lineup here. We got Tommy Cat in the Focus, Jewel Kanoto in the Integra, myself in the Neon, Zetsu in the Kusabi, Ferrari GT Sport, and Psychedelic Haze in the Accord. During our race, the Kusabi is already going for the back end of the Celicas. Everybody takes this corner pretty well, I'd say. Accord zooming off a little bit here. Very even race, bit of a train going on. And, Neon goes for an overtake on Zetsu, wasn't able to do it. Civic getting a little... Rounding the corner, going to the straight. Seems like the Celica's really putting the power down here. Neon on the outside, so is the Kusabi. Going for an overtake while Ferrari goes for an overtake. Zetsu is successful. Nobody's able to get around the Accord quite yet. They go too wide through this corner. Having a physical fight that the Kusabi wins. Same with the Neon. Neon does not manage to get around the Celica and kind of gets bullied by everybody there. Neon yet again looking for a way around. As up front, the Kusabi rams into the Accord. Looks like Zetsu's trying to get a spot on Hayes here. Celica just keeping that thing at bay. Oh, the Focus goes wide. Gets a little squirrely. Trying to get around the Integra. Looks like he just can't do it. Going onto the straight here. Yet again a physical fight. As the Neon has gotten in front of the Celica at this point. He's in the train. Looks like the Kusabi has also managed to get around the Accord. Focus finally overtakes the Integra, putting it in fifth in the Integra in the danger zone. Coming up in this corner here, second to last lap. Oop! Focus goes for a strong push move to get around the Celica. Goes a little wide, but still manages. Celica now in fifth. Neon bullies Hayes to the side, trying to get around her, but just can't do it. I won't stop him, though. Around this corner pretty smooth. Focus goes off yet again. Pretty squirrely handling for what we accepted to be a good car. Neon does manage to pull ahead, take silver from Psychedelic. Goes onto the straight, trying to catch up with Zetsu. Focus goes wide, so does the Integra. Zetsu just walking away in the Kusabi, not bothered by these matters. Focus manages to get around everybody to get into third. Psychedelic trying to hold down fourth as we go into the last corner here. Celica gets around it on the inside, going into the last lap. What looks like a dive bomb from Jula Kanoto there. The Accord goes from first to sixth. Neon in second. Everybody going pretty strongly around this corner here. Neon going off just a little bit as Tom tries to catch up to him, gets a move made. Something might change on the straight here, but Zetsu has most assuredly taken first. And it looks like the Focus just doesn't have the power to catch up to the Neon on the straight. Kusabi takes first place, carrying Zetsu, followed by, the Focus going wide as I finish second. Tom gets third. Ferrari gets fourth. Julican gets fifth in the Integra, and unfortunately Psychedelic takes sixth at the Accord. God rest her soul, knocking her out of the tournament. Alright, going into Heat 3 here, we have Mitica, Vectra, Civic, PT Cruiser, C3, and the 106 Rally up here. Peugeot Gugus leading us off, followed by Guh in the Citroen and Gambling in the PT Cruiser, Jitterbug in the Civic, Barbara Reese in the Vectra, and Son of a Gun in the Minica. Pretty even line. Everybody's having a pretty even time here. Minica does speed up and slam right into the Vectra, overtaking it on that corner, or trying to at least, failing in fact. Goes crazy off track, flies right through the grid, bonks the wall. Everybody else seems pretty content and pretty stable going around this corner. Coming into the straight though, that amount of power might be scary as the Vectra goes a little wide, gets out of the way. It is hammering the back of that Opel. Going through the inside as the Vectra goes a little wide into the grass, allowing the Minica to overtake. Mitica also getting around Jitterbug Civic here. Up front, no position change. Peugeot Gugus steadily holding everybody here. But the Minica's out for blood. That thing might pay for it, man. 106 followed by the C3 and the PT, all making it around this corner. Very uniform. As well as the Civic just kind of being there. Vectra currently in last, not making ground on anybody really. Minica's looking for a way around the PT Cruiser. Don't think he's going to find it quite yet. Coming onto the straight yet again. It is easily outpowering these other cars. Flies past the PT Cruiser. Goes for the C3. Can't quite do it. PT Cruiser does a little bit of funny there. Straight into the grassy knoll here. Comes back out, hits the PT Cruiser as its superior handling allows it to stay in third for now. Meanwhile, Peugeot Gugas is just relaxing in first. The Frenchman unbothered by the Meineka's antics. Hard braking on that corner. Hard braking. And a move by the PT Cruiser out of nowhere. Allowing it to overtake the C3, get second place, take that silver medal. Meineka trying to go for something again, goes wide a second time. It just doesn't have the stability here. As everybody makes it around the big bend. Meineka going off track once more. Still safe from the Civic and the Vectra though. The Vectra still taking a last, trying to catch up to the Civic. Not really doing it though. Seizure, I don't know what my cameraman was doing there. Coming up into our final lap here, the Meineka does overtake the C3. Getting around this first corner here, seems to be going for the PT Cruiser as well. Doesn't quite do it, but he's certainly trying. Peugeot Gugas still in first, the Peugeot not dethroned. Everybody moving here. Meineka makes another move on the PT Cruiser. PT Cruiser goes off horrendously. So the Meineka is able to take second from him, getting that trophy. Going right for the Peugeot immediately. Peugeot's trying to hold him off. Meineka goes horrifically wide in this corner yet again. Still gets out in front of the PT. Oh, the Vectra! Hard go off. Oh, that's a last. That's a firmly cemented last for sure. Coming up on the final corner. Meineka's not quite able to get around the Peugeot, going off track horribly while the Peugeot takes first. PT gets around it taking second. Meineka takes third. Gunn the Citroen fourth. Jitterbug in the Civic fifth. And Barbara Reese sadly in the Vectra. Not able to cut the mustard. It's a shame. Crazy performance by the Meineka though. Right, Heat 4 has quite the assortment of vehicles here. Needing no introduction, just that Storm GS Real is starting us up here in the yellow Avantime, followed by the Civic, Volvo, March, Life, and this very silly 2CV. Immediately soaring the Avantime, getting it stable out. Immediately in the first corner, the 2CV understeers and goes off quite horribly. The Life dragging the ground as we get to this corner here. Everybody being fairly smooth and in uniform as the 2CV fails to quarter again, bouncing all over the place. Going good through this corner onto the straight now. We'll see what happens as the Volvo goes for an overtake. Life Step Van goes wide back there. Volvo on the outside looking for something. Can't seem to find it. As the Spoon Civic of RK8 leads clearly catches up to the Avantime. Goes on the inside trying to get an overtake on the Spoon. Does it. Followed shortly after by Terezi and the March, getting around the Civic with ease. Taking this corner here, Terezi squeezes past SVT to get into second. Take that silver medal. The Life Step Van back here in fifth, but thankfully not in sixth. The March really riding the Van ass, trying to do something. Can't quite figure it out. Goes a little wide on that corner there, still able to hold it together and hold off the Volvo. Meanwhile, the Life dragging the floor here takes this corner onto the straight. Everybody's pretty even here. The March going for an overtake on the Avantime. Does manage to pull it off before the end, going into this corner very confidently, and actually managing to clear it. Nice. Oh, the 2CV still peak performance, bouncing around as always. A lap behind as everybody takes this first corner in lap 3. Including the Life. The van doing its best. Oh, we get up to the front. Terezi walking away from everybody in the March, it seems, while the Avantime and the Volvo are trying to keep up. Having a little bit of a scuffle themselves throughout that corner. Oh, SVT tries to go for something on the Avantime, but brakes insanely hard on the corner going into the straight, so no dice there. Life going wide in the back yet again as SVT goes for an overtake, tries to pull it off on this corner here. Deep on the inside, grinds and squeezes until he gets past the Avantime, putting Storm in third. As the March effortlessly leaves. Coming up on the 2CV, actually, who's just enjoying a lovely Sunday drive. No problems here. God, this thing is so fucking stupid. March going through the turn very nicely. 5 seconds ahead of the next guy. The 2CV does a full spin, bouncing like a lowrider out of the match as the March laps it fully. Yes, that's right. We've got a lapping on Tsukuba. Followed by the Volvo, the Avantime, and the Civic as the 2CV just sits there confused. The Life horribly going off track, catching up, trying his best. Drifting around, scraping the floor. The 2CV goes off yet again, allowing even the very unstable Life to lap. Up front, finishing the race, the March with a horrible corner still manages to take first. While the Volvo safely gets a second, followed by the Avantime in third, with the Civic right on his ass in fourth, makes you wonder. And in fifth, horribly off-tracking, we have Zeep Sheep, finally not getting eliminated in the first round of a tournament, I might add. First time for him, with Jabulani firmly eliminated in this very, very silly, stupid vehicle. Good lord. Coming in round 5 here, we've got yet again a pretty good lineup. 2 Alphas, Prelude, another 2 Integras, and of course the Clio. Starting off here, the 2 Alphas heading up the back, red and blue. What a nice dynamic. Everybody stays fairly even going through this first set of corners. Expert in the black Civic trying to catch up to the Clio. Well, Schwarzkasor in the Spoon Integra just runs away with it. Hitting the brakes here, bonking into the back of Expert Integra a little bit is pinned. While the 2 Alphas still can't quite make enough ground to catch up. The Honda's taking that corner fairly well. Going into lap 2 here, it looks like the Clio is making some ground on Smart's Integra, but not quite able to get around it, while overtake from Octo in the Spider, but brakes way too hard, allowing Rosie to get back around him in the normal GTV. The Prelude taking this corner, getting a little bit outrun by the 98 Integra, while up front the Spoon Integra is just leaving them behind. Cleo still trying his best, getting a little silly in that line along with Octo's Spider, but neither one of the blue vehicles really being able to do anything about it. Getting a little silly with the cornering line here as we go into the third lap. Looks like the Clio yet again makes a lot of ground. It gets real close to the Spoon Integra on the corners just for it to get walked on afterwards. The two Alphas having their own little fight in the back there as Rosie continues to reign victorious, though not much of a victory, still being in 5th. Coming up close on the Prelude, getting right on its ass as a pin successfully defends against the evil Alfa Romeo. Brakes really hard going into the final lap, going a bit wide, but not wide enough to open the door for the Spider, while Pin and Expert still maintain their position. Not a lot of movement going on here. The race is fairly equal and even. Everybody's just kind of in their place, in their spot, but that won't be very good for Octo and the Spider if he can't get around Rosie in this last lap here. Going into the hump. Like everybody keeping place. And then as these two round the corner into a long straight, the Clio tries, does end up gaining on the Spoon Integra by a decent amount, but unfortunately looks like it's just not enough getting around the corner here. Same for the GTV on its chances of getting around the Prelude, as the Spoon Integra takes first, followed by the Clio in second, Black Integra in third, Prelude in fourth, Rosie in fifth, and sadly interrupting Octopus into his Alfa Romeo Spider taking last. Alright, for the final race of round one, we have the Auto Bianchi, the EXA, the Sarah, Knight in the Ka, Monkey Man in the Alpha 147, and Marzo in the Peugeot 206. Let's hit it. Immediately, the Peugeot kind of walking away with it, as everybody gets around our first corner here. The Ka's already caught up with the 147. Thinking about doing something, not quite sure though. Yukester and the Sarah does try to go for something on the inside. Sadly is not successful. It powers it down, hits the grass a little. Everybody schmoovin' a little wide here as it did finally manage to get around the Ka. Though the Ka strikes back on this corner here, taking his position back. For the Sarah, of course, speeds off with it again. charging towards the 147. The EXA runs toward them as well, trying to catch up. The Abarth in the back, trying its best. While up front, Marzo, fairly comfortable. 3 wide on the first corner between the Sarah as it gets across the 147 and the Ka that's trying. Solstice in the EXA also managing to wedge its way past the Ka there. Riding the ass of the 147. Getting into the big bend before the long straight once more. Sarah riding the Peugeot's ass just a little bit. Taking off on the straight. The Canopy similarly taking off and getting around, or failing, trying something. On the last corner, going into lap 3 here, the Autobianchi goes off horribly. That's not going to do him any favors. The EXA and the Ka fighting a little bit again as the Sarah has successfully overtaken Marzo and gotten first. The Peugeot now in second. The EXA comfortably in third, getting around the 147 finally on that corner. Putting Monkey Man in fourth and Knight in fifth. Get a little swifty on this corner here as everybody moves around trying to do something. Peugeot a little left in the dust by the Sarah as the Sarah makes it onto the straight. The Ka and the 147 fighting, the Ka getting around it. Trying to catch back up to that rocket ship of an EXA, dude. So it takes the final corner, taking us into the final lap. Up front, the Peugeot is doing its best in second as the EXA and the Ka catch up. The 147 behind. And the Abarth still in last. The Sarah really just walking away with it. Oh, the EXA goes a bit wide, and then it goes horribly wide again, giving the Ka ample time to catch up to it, get right on its ass. Will something happen on the big straight? Why don't we find out? Ka gets a little loosey-goosey, allowing the Exa to escape and maintain its bronze position. Up front, the Sarah goes off horribly, but Euxter still takes first, followed by the Peugeot 206 in second, the EXA in third, the Ka in fourth, bonking it and actually overtaking it post, the 147 in fifth, and finally the Autobianchi in sixth, having a very bad run with very worn out tires. Oh my lord. And that's it. Thank you for attending the first video of this tournament. I've been trying to make this happen for a while, and thanks to the help from Zetsu, Night Drive server, and Ferrari GT Sports server, it's finally become a reality. I've been Terrified Hawkizzard. You guys have been awesome. See you next time.